like for me, if somebody were to say, oh, you're 40 and it's never going to happen. Well, I didn't feel 40. And I was
Sure.
like, well, what is 40?
And I know that you are gearing up for your biggest role yet, and that is mom. Congratulations. How has this pregnancy treating you?
Awesome. I feel really lucky. It's all been really good. All of my stats are good. All of the tests have been really good. And so I just feel really, really blessed. It's wild. It's very surreal. I sometimes don't have words for it. It's just sort of like happening. And I think we turned 30 weeks today. And I've had these different moments of, as it's progressed, where all of a sudden it's like, oh, now it's like really real. Like now it's like really going to happen. And, so I'm trying to just take it day by day and not get overwhelmed. And I love, I feel so grateful for the support that I have around me. I have an incredible midwife and doula, and, all these amazing women and my girlfriends, and, how they'll just remind me, like, just remember that all he needs is love, because we get to this place of thinking like, oh, if I don't have that, or I don't, do this, and we just get so ahead of ourselves. So I'm trying to just take it moment by moment.
Definitely. Has the pregnancy been difficult at all? Have you had any weird cravings, morning sickness, or?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I had definitely in my first trimester, which was like the weirdest thing I've ever experienced in my life. Because I love food. I love eating. And I originally was working on a project in August, and I thought I just had jet lag at first. And I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, something's off, like what, my appetite's off. And then I would have these moments where I would like buy all these things that I loved eating, and then I would open up the fridge and it's full of food. And I would look at it and I'm like, I don't want any of it. It was like the weirdest experience, And then once I found out I was pregnant, then I couldn't like really, stomach that much, and I was working, and so I was like living off of like gin-gins and like ginger tea and like saltines, and I was like crying on the phone to my doctor, and I was like, like he's developing his brain right now, and I'm just eating crackers, and it's like, like you're a mess.
Yeah. I mean, you did say that, the process of getting pregnant and, becoming a mom has been stressful. I mean, what kind of tips do you have for people that are kind of going through the same thing?
I mean, I'm so aware of how we all have our own journey with this. And I think that's what's important, is it's not like one size fits all. And that was sort of like some of my personal experiences. I felt like I fell victim to what, even though everyone was meaning well around me, what I was kind of being told, and that I sort of just lost a sense of what my instincts were and what my own belief was. And I would encourage people to not lose that, because I ended up so focused on thinking that if I, do things like this particular way, then, this will be the result. And there really is no particular way.
Right.
But that's sort of like, I think what we try to, put out there, and what we try to, say is the case, and it's really not the case. And one of the things that my doctor at the time, when I came back from working in Georgia, said to me was, I'm so happy you trusted in your body. And that just meant like the world to me, because it's possible. It's like just don't lose sight of the possibility, because we put ourselves in all of these like boxes and all of these categories, and and thinking like, and we're not that.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm going to be 42 next month. And it was just sort of like, oh, I'm just written off, because, we talk about, like, we see that on paper.
Right.
And that's not the case. Like life isn't like that. Like there is still a lot of possibility. So I think it's like that limited thinking. I realized that that wasn't ultimately serving me. So I had to take everything that I was being told and, you know, and shown and like apply it to myself and like how it worked for me, instead of, you know, trying to think like if I just morph into this, then, you know, this will be the result.
Yeah, I think that's so important. It's such an important thing to say, to trust in your body, whether it's age or infertility. You know, it can be very defeating at times trying to get pregnant. And if you just trust in your body, you know, eventually, hopefully things will happen.
I just think don't like lose sight of that. Like don't take that out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not that easy to just trust in your body.
Sure.
Don't just take that out of the equation, because you know, like for me, if somebody were to say, oh, you're 40, it's never going to happen. Well, I didn't feel 40. And I was like, well, what is 40?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like, it shouldn't just, you don't have an expiration date, right?
No, and I had conversations with my mom, and she was 30 when she got pregnant with me and had me at 31. And she said, you know, it was the same thing for me back then. 30 was like, oh my God, your baby's going to be so old. Like you're so old. Yep. And so it's like, now that's like our 40, but you know, it was like nothing. It was the same thing. Like, oh, you know, well, you're just, how old are you? Oh, it's done.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's that kind of thing where I think don't lose sight of. It's like if someone had sort of said that to me, I was falling myself personally too victim to believing it, even though inside I didn't feel that way. So I was like, I wasn't listening to myself. So it's, don't negate how you feel, because someone else might be telling you, you know, everyone's different and the journey is totally different. And there's, I think, you know, all kinds of possibility. You know?